Hello gorgeous ones, Dr. Lucy here, absolutely bang on time, like a miracle really. I hope you're all happy, healthy and well, and I'll wait for a few of you to jump on before I get started. You can see again the colours in my eye coming out, looking magnificent. Hello Susan, how are you? So I hope it's not going to be too noisy, but I'm in the caravan and it's raining. So this is the caravan kitchen. And I guess what I wanted to show you is that you can just cook like you do at home, but while you're on holidays. Just because we're on holidays doesn't mean that I have to do anything different off my plan. Hello Elise, hello Sue, hello Annette, how are you all lovelies? So I thought, the only thing I have done before tonight that is a little bit different is I've pre-chopped a few things, and that's purely because I haven't got space. Hello Veronica, hello Sandra, how are you gorgeous women? So I don't have space in the van to, spread out like I do. Hi Jodes, Sheena, how are we all? And I'm going to ask you guys for a bit of advice tonight on a couple of things that Mary and I want to do. Hello Anne. So one of the things that we are wanting to do, Cheryl, you did make it. Oh, you made the Japanese pancakes yesterday. They're absolutely ripper. Something so simple, and it tastes completely different to like frittata, I think. It's just amazing. Yes, cooking in the caravan, exactly. So basically, I'm just going to get cracking because it won't take very long. Look, as you know, I cook a lot of the same food. I wear the same clothes, I cook the same food because it's easy. So this is my camping outfits go like this. As long as it's weather, as long as the weather, is the same. I will wear the same clothes for a few days in a row. We're on the move, I'm not seeing anybody except you guys, and then I put them away and get out a new outfit and I wear that for a few days in a row, and that way you don't have clean clothes mixed with dirty clothes. It's just simple, and as you know, I'm all about keeping life simple. So I'm just going to whack on my gas here, and look, I've got olive oil for this one. Now I've actually got a little bit of lemon olive oil, and basically because this is the only olive oil we have, in fact I could do butter, but I want a bit of lemony taste with this one. So, and remember, you can, I know everyone goes, you can't cook with olive oil. You can, as long as you're not cooking super high. If you're doing like a big deep fry where it's very hot, then the olive oil can oxidize a bit. But honestly, the type of cooking I do, it's not that hot. I mean, it's hot enough to cook it, obviously, but it's not mega hot. So, all I've done, heat up my olive oil. I've got a kilo and a bit of chicken that I just chop roughly because that's how I like to chop things. Pop that in, get rid of that. And so one of the things that Mary and I are wanting to do, as you know, we write a lot of blogs and we do a lot of podcasts. We've got some great guests coming up in the second half of the year. So I've got two things. If anybody watching has a wonderful low carb story that they want to share, then please email me and we will have you as a guest on the podcast. It's cooking, coaching, caravan and conversations. Just showing, making sure I've got this on, yes. Do you remember my last week when I was cooking the Japanese pancake and then it just stopped cooking? Yes, I didn't realise the double adapter I was using was faulty. So that went in the bin. You're saying, oh, not my induction cooktop, maybe that's broken. But it wasn't. It was just the actual PowerPoint. That went in the bin and the cooktop's fine. So I will be able to keep doing it when I get back home. So two things. We do lots of vlogs, lots of podcasts. If you've got a beautiful low carb story, and I'm talking about any of you, anybody really, anybody can, we love having guests on. But we have lots of our members who come on and tell their story, but not everybody has been through our programs. We just really want to spread the word on how effective low carb can be. So if anybody out there has a story, then please get in touch and we'll put you on the show. Second thing, if you've got a particular topic that we haven't cut, if you've got a topic that we haven't covered yet, and we've got some crackers coming up, then please shout out and we'll do it. And then the third thing is that if there are any blog posts, if there's any questions that you find come up time and time again, and you think, I wish Dr. Lucy and Dr. Mary had a blog post on that, then please let us know. We are going to be doing one. I'm going to write one probably tonight after I finish this on a really common topic, and we do cover it in our program, but we want to cover it for general people. And so for all of you watching who are doing our program, you're in what we call the transition phase. You've just started going into that week 2. It's the transition phase, and that's when bowels, sorry, we're talking dinner, bowels can go awry, and people can either have constipation or diarrhea. Constipation much more commonly, and that's my job tonight. I'm going to write a blog post on it, give you the reasons why, and then the things that I think that you should be doing. And I'll tell you what, they're not things like you go onto a lot of Facebook groups and they'll go, eat a packet of those Double D gummy bears. Thanks, Nikki. You saw 4 questions on it. Yes. Eat a packet of Double D gummy bears. Well, yep, I can tell you that will fix your constipation, but not in a way that your body will be happy. Those Double D, any of those sugar-free lollies that you find at the chemist that say sugar-free, 2 things. They've got something called maltitol in them, which acts exactly like a carbohydrate and does the same thing to insulin as sugar, but it's a chemical, and it's extremely irritant to your gut. So the gut goes, no. And basically the colons, Lee's written low carb lifestyle before and after weight loss surgery. That's your story. Wonderful. Lee, definitely love to have you on the podcast. I think that, and this is one of the things I think that Mary and I are very passionate about, is the idea there is no one only way. I was talking this morning about complicate. Oh yeah, Double D's, you only make that mistake once. Absolutely, Melissa. And if you've ever seen, I think they have a Facebook group or there's some page or something, there's somewhere where you can write comments. And the comments, they're worth what? It's worth looking up just for hilarity. If you look up gummy bears, and it'll tell you. But yes, they are definitely not good for you. They're definitely not the path to real health and weight loss. So, you know that Maz and I are very passionate about the idea that losing weight is incredibly helpful for many conditions, but you have to do it in a way that is safe, sustainable, and healthy to your body. So not weight loss at any cost. And there are lots of things, there's lots of different strategies that people do. Certainly low carb is one of them, and is by far and away, I think, one of the best ways to do it, but it's not the only. So for some people, weight loss surgery is definitely an option. What I find is that people probably need a little bit of lots of things. So for some people, low carb it's not enough. No, again, that's not their fault. It's not that they're not doing it properly. It's just that they have really extreme insulin resistance. So even doing low carb, they still have, their body just still stores lots of fat. They just cannot get their insulin levels down low enough, even by markedly reducing carbohydrates. That's not their fault. So requiring medications or surgery is not a failure, and having surgery and then needing to do low carb is not a failure. They're all just little bits of the pie that people can put together to get to their goal, to where they want to be, which at the end of the day is actually to be, I guess, your best, most functional version of yourself. Hello, Joanne. So we know that weight loss helps with movement, with your ability to move around, with ease, because your joints, everything works. Yes, Ozempic is big on my mind at the moment. I do use Ozempic. I missed the question though, sorry, the screen flew up before I had a question. So while I'm here, maybe I'll talk about Ozempic, because it is very topical at the moment for multiple reasons. One, it's quite hard to get at the moment, so lots of people are worried. So what Ozempic does, we talk a bit about these hormones called the incretin hormones. They're made throughout the gut. Sorry, while I'm cooking, basically I just brown the chicken. I'm just going to bang the rest in. So I'm using this tonight, green chicken curry powder. I'm just using 1 packet. Normally it says 1 packet per 500 grams, and I've got a bit over a kilo, but it's quite spicy tonight. Joe, I'm cooking green chicken curry, like in a hurry, like quick, as you know, as I always do. So basically I've browned the chicken, I'm banging that spice in. I'll just stir that around a bit. I've got a lid, yay. And then veggies. I've done a whole big bag of mushrooms. I might not put all them in actually. So I chopped them, stuck them back in the bag, feeling very like a legend, you know, quite virtuous for chopping my own mushrooms. Lee's written she did low carb, then surgery, followed by low carb. Absolutely. So I've just chucked in some green beans. Again, topped and tailed, chopped in half, nothing fancy. Oh, gosh, I just buggered up the lid on my thingy. You know when you do that, does anyone else do that? You go to pull the ring top and the ring top comes off? Yes. Luckily, in the van I have another one and it's just down here, just bear with me. How's that for convenient? So the cooking is a kilo of chicken, thereabouts, some packet of mingle, some coconut cream, put it all in. I will put some water in with this. With a kilo of chicken, I was going to use this big jar, and this is a smaller jar, which doesn't matter. Look, here I am, right next to the tap. So handy. Okay, give that a bit of a spread around. Okay, just putting the fan up a little bit. Hopefully it's not too noisy. Good. There we go. All right. Spread that out a bit. I know you can't actually see down here. Basically, I'm going to put the lid on and then keep talking to you. Must be freezing out camping. No, it's not, Joe, because we're up in New South Wales. We're on a beautiful little part of the world called just next door to Potato Point, and literally our caravan. There's a bit of grass covered in wallabies. There's some sand, and there's the water. And apparently in the mornings there's going to be emus running across the sand. So I'm looking forward to that. We're here for a few days, so I hope we get to see them. So let's talk about another tool, Ozempic, which is one of our weight loss medications. So I was mentioning that we have these hormones in our tummy called the incretin hormones, and the incretin hormones talk to the pancreas about how much insulin to release. So this is really important with the size of your food particles. If you're eating big food particles, the incretins tell the pancreas to release the insulin a little bit more slowly. If you're using small food particles like juices, then the incretins tell the pancreas release insulin quickly, they're coming through all this glucose. Hurry up, hurry up. So the way in which Ozempic works is it slows the stomach down. So it slows it out, and so therefore the pancreas can have time, I guess, to meter out the insulin. So it's a really effective tool for diabetes where people have much better blood glucose control, and because the stomach stays full for a long time, people feel very full. So remember, one of the things that happens when you've got if you've got long-term metabolically deranged hormones, your body will be becoming very efficient at storing fat, and you also lose something called leptin. So leptin is your satiety hormone or your fullness hormone. Your brain becomes resistant to it, so it actually can't tell when it's full, which is why people often feel very hungry, they feel very full, they never get the signal I'm full until they're really completely stuffed. So the way in which this medication works is it delays the stomach, and actually people feel full. So for the first time in their lives, they're often able to regulate their portions easily. Yes, so Nikki, it is extreme, and look, it is really effective for some people. Now there's a couple of caveats, of course. At the moment, the dose of Ozempic that is available is 1 milligram, because that is up to 1 milligram. That is the best dose for people with type 2 diabetes in the trials. The actual dose for weight loss goes up to 2.4 milligrams, so much bigger dose. And what happens is that at the moment in Australia, you can only go up to 1. It becomes quite, you can go more, but you then have to double dose the pen and you split the dose. What's happening in in a lot of the Facebook groups is that some people are getting really great effects at 0.25. That's not the actual therapeutic dose, but lucky them, they're getting good effect at 0.25. And of course, as we know in groups, there's a lot of comparison, and people go, oh my God, I've done this and I've lost this, and then other people go, oh, it's not working for me, what am I doing wrong? The issue with Ozempic for some people is it doesn't work no matter what. It just doesn't. We have non-responders. We have that in every medication. For some people, there are medications that just, even at the maximal dose, just don't work. We have it with antidepressants, we have it with antihypertensives, lots of different medications. So again, and then there are people who have what we call hyper-responders. So they have extremely good effect with quite low dose. Lucky them. The problem with Ozempic is that it does have the side effect profile can be significant. And good, Nikki, I'm going to write a blog on this. I am going to write a blog because there's also other weight loss medications that are out there. So the side effect profile that is significant is gastrointestinal. And what it is some people get really dreadful reflux. A lot of people get really debilitating nausea. And a lot of people get vomiting because their gut doesn't empty. And this can also be problematic for things like if you need to have surgery, for example. You know, we get people to fast for surgery so that they're having their surgical procedure on an empty stomach. Otherwise, they can risk aspirating. That means when food or stomach fluids go into the lungs, it's not lungs and stomach fluid should never meet. And so there's lots of times where people go to have surgery and they haven't actually eaten for maybe 24 hours and they've still got food in their stomach. So there are some things that we need to be mindful of. There's also some things where it can, because of this nausea, it can decrease your tolerance for fat. A bit like when you're pregnant. You know when you're, well, not all of you will know what it's like when you're pregnant, men, and some ladies, but when you're pregnant, you're really, fat just seems really hard, and so you really do crave carbs, which is of course what we're trying to avoid. So there's certainly some pros and cons. So yes, I'll do a blog post on Ozempic. I'll do a blog post on I think I might even do one on gastric sleeves, and I'll do one on constipation, and in fact bowel changes that come with transitioning for keto. Good. Any other bowel posts? Any other blog posts that people would like to hear? I'm just going to give this a stir. This is just about done. Seriously, it doesn't take very long at all. The chicken's all browned. Really, all I'm doing now is stirring through and cooking the veggies. You can see it's nearly done, which is wonderful. I'll put the lid on for a couple more minutes to get the mushies done. But that's it. That's all you need to do. You don't have to have rice. I know that we're really we're really mad. My microphone. I know we're really mad on rice with curry, and it does seem weird to have all this sauce, but I just pretend it's like soup. I've just done one packet, Joe, of this stuff, just this time, even though it's a kilo and a bit of mince, because it's quite spicy. Now, if you really wanted to jazz this up and you were really mad on Thai, you could certainly add a bit of coriander and a little bit of lime juice. I've got a lemon here because I just don't happen to have a lime, which I'll squeeze over at the end. Coconut cream sometimes needs something to sort of cut it. So I would usually do lime. I'd put in maybe a little handful of coriander on mine. My hubby is one of those people that doesn't, you know, there's this collection of people where coriander makes them feel funny. It's a genetic thing, sadly. So I'd put coriander in mine, none in his, and I'd put a few little sprinkles of chili flakes on it, and that's it. Magnificent. So that's pretty much it done. So lovelies, in the transition period, which as I said, a lot of our 12-weekers are in, lemongrass and snow peas, another good option, Margie, for Thai food, definitely. If you're in the transition phase and you're basically anybody that changes their diet dramatically. So that can be people that suddenly become vegetarian. It can be people that suddenly become low carb. It can be people that suddenly get rid of all the junk food where you're thinking, oh, well, this should be good. What it does is it changes the way your bowel works because your bowel has been functioning on what it's used to. Okay, we've got gut microbiome that you're used to that microenvironment, and then you suddenly change it and the bowel goes, oh, I don't know what to do. So I'll write the blog post tonight. It'll be out in the newsletter tomorrow. Did anyone have a chance to listen to our podcast yet this week? Another ripper, I think. We did it on toxic positivity, which is sounds weird, doesn't it? I mean, how can positivity be toxic? There are lots of people who don't work as well regardless of the treatment. They want a magic cure. Some people do, and look, there are certainly people out there who for whatever reason aren't able. Oh, good, Carolyn, you liked it. Great. For whatever reason, aren't able to change their lifestyle. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. There is lots of reasons, and I think it's really important that we recognise that sometimes there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know. So there's people with perhaps reduced access to money. There's people who live in situations of family violence or coercion. There's people who have come from trauma where food has been their saviour, like they're soothing. So there's lots of reasons why people use food other than nutrition. There's also just been lots of mixed messaging over the years, lots of conditioning. That's okay. That's the bit that is that's the bit I find the easiest bit to kind of help people with. The other stuff is certainly something that needs skilled people to help with. Absolutely doable, but requires a little bit of work and sometimes some one-on-one consults, all of which we're able to do with like medicine. Lovelies, I don't think my eyeball looks too bad in here. I had this was my little deliberation with myself this afternoon. I'm thinking, you know, I've got this big black eye, and I'm thinking, well, I could just put some makeup on for tonight because, you know, who wants to go on TV and have 50 people watching them all with a black eye? And then I just thought, oh, look, you guys won't care. You know the story. I've already put about it. You know why it's there. And this is just how I am. I actually think it would be different. It would be far different, I think, if I'd actually injured my eye where my eyelid was closed and so functionally it wasn't working. But it's actually perfectly fine. It's just a periorbital hematoma. Not even hematoma anymore, just periorbital bruising. All right, lovelies. I'm going to go. This is ready, so I'm going to put it in a bowl. I'll take a picture, stick it on the blog. You'll see this in the newsletter tomorrow night. You'll see the blog on the... Oh, thanks, Lee. You'll see the blog on the constipation up tomorrow night and a link to our podcast just to remind you in case you haven't heard it. Beautiful peeps, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'll see you soon. Bye now.